Hello and welcome to another session in English language. Today we'll be examining different aspects of English language. The first aspect we are considering is structure, where we'll be looking at the direct and indirect speech. Then thereafter we'll look at contrastive, or what you call emphatic stress under speech work. And lastly, we'll look at the register on astronomy. But before that, let us review the previous lesson. Welcome back. Like I said, today we are going to be examining different aspects of English language. And so the first aspect we're going to look at is structure, and under that we're going to look at direct and indirect speech. Okay, so we're going to look at direct and indirect speech. So what is a direct speech? Okay, and we'll look at what an indirect speech is. How do we distinguish a direct speech from an indirect speech? So don't forget, stay back, relax, and follow lesson. Alright, so what is a direct speech? Like we said, a direct speech refers to the quotation by a speaker or a writer. That is, you say something in the exact words of a speaker or a writer. Okay, quoting verbatim, word for word, what a speaker or writer said is referred to as a direct speech. I'll take that again. Speaking verbatim or writing verbatim in the exact words of a speaker or writer is referred to as direct speech. Okay, so and we want to see further how, what do we, apart from just quoting verbatim, okay, what else do we need to know about direct speech? It is usually indicated through the use of what you call a quotation mark. Quotation mark is one of the punctuation marks we use in English language. Okay, it's one of the punctuation marks. It's one of the punctuation marks we use in English language, and it's something you have the single quotation mark or you have the double quotation mark. Okay, so every time we use or quote somebody directly, every time we use the exact words a speaker or a writer uses, okay, we always use the quotation mark, which can be single or double. So we give examples below. Obama said, "I will return next month by the grace of God." Obama said, "I will return next month by the grace of God." Now, Obama here is the speaker. Okay, so we are trying to quote him in the exact words. This is what he said: "I will return next month by the grace of God." So these words in quotation mark are examples of what you call a direct speech. Okay, the words in quotation marks I will refer to as a direct speech. In the words of Shakespeare, he says, "Uneasy lies the hair that wears the crown." He uneasy lies the hair that wears the crown. In other words, we are saying these are the exact words of what? Shakespeare. These are the precise, we are quoting Shakespeare verbatim. Okay, that's what we refer to as what? Direct speech. Okay, and we have other examples below. So let's move further. What are the features of a direct speech? How do we know that this speech or utterance or quotation is a direct speech? Number one is that what we said, that the direct speech is what? Enclosed with inverted commas, opening and also closing. Okay, which I showed you what the inverted comma is. It can be the single and it can also be the double inverted comma. Okay, then also it is usually followed by reporting a verb, Okay, that is she said. Okay, which most times can be in the past tense or the present tense. Okay. Now, also, we can introduce a direct speech by the following expressions. We can say, according to, for instance, let's say you want to say, according to Isaac Newton, the first law of motion says that a body will remain at what? Rest until an external force acts on it. I'm quoting what Isaac Newton. I'll say according to. Okay, so that's how we know or differentiate what direct speech, by this expression according to. So anytime you see this expression according to, know that it's most times a direct what? Speech. Also, the direct speech is preceded by what? A comma or a colon. Let's take note of that. It is often preceded by what? The direct speech is often preceded by a comma or a colon. So for instance, the lady always says, my restaurant offers you some of the best dishes in town. The lady always says. So what is it that she always say? My restaurant offers you some of the best dishes in town. This is something she says oftentimes. So if you look at the verb says, it's in the present tense. Okay, so this is what she says every time. All right, so then we have the direct speech begins with what? Capital letter. So you don't begin. Now if you check a bit of the examples, you see that the I here is beginning with what? A capital letter. The U here, a capital letter. Okay, so every time the P here is a capital letter. All right, so every time we begin that, you begin a direct speech with what? The capital letter. Okay, I believe that was understood. So let's move on to another aspect, which is the twin of what you call direct speech. We call that the indirect speech. So it's the opposite of what a direct speech. Remember, direct speech is quoting verbatim, saying the exact words as used by a speaker or a writer. But in the case of indirect speech, you just say it, okay, without using the exact words of the speaker or the writer. So you report, you say what a speaker or writer has said without using his or her exact words. I believe that is understood. Okay, so every time we use an expression that is not in the right words of the exact words rather of the speaker, okay, we call that an indirect speech. We are not using the exact words of the speaker. So for instance, what I said before, Obama said, I would return next month by the grace of God. So if I'm going to change that to an indirect speech, you can see it now. Obama said he would return the following month by the grace of God. Now, next became the following. Okay, next became the following. Alright, now let's take the second one. Shakespeare says that the head that wears the crown lies uneasy. Shakespeare says the head that wears the crown lies uneasy. Okay, so remember it was formerly uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. So in the words of Shakespeare, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. But in the index, which becomes Shakespeare says that the head that wears the crown lies uneasy. So you can see that there's a change, all right, both in the structure of the sentence. So let's look at the features also of what you call an indirect speech. How do we know that a particular expression is an indirect speech? Number one, we should see that we don't make use of what? Quotation marks, unlike direct speech where we make use of what? Quotation marks. So you don't make use of quotation marks in an indirect what? Speech. Also, the reporting verb in the direct speech could change form. I repeat, the reporting verb used in the direct speech could change what? Form. If you don't forget, we said, Obama said, I will return next month by the grace of God. But when we change that to indirect speech, we said, Obama said he would return the following month by the grace of God. So next there became the following. Alright? So we said the reporting verb most times could change. Okay? It's not every time, but most times it could what? Change. Now, if the reporting verb is in the past tense, let's take note of this rule. If the reporting verb is in the past tense, what happens? The verb in the reported speech will change, to past tense. Okay, so you have to be mindful of the tense of verb used. Now, if the reporting verb is in the present tense or future, then the verb in the reported speech does not change. Okay, it does not change. It changes only when the reporting verb is in the present or future, in the past tense rather. If the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, the verb does not change. If it's in the past tense, it changes. Okay, let that stick. And if what is expressed in the direct speech is a universal truth, then no changes takes place in the reported speech. I'll give an example of what is a universal truth. I say something like, the earth is spherical. The earth is spherical. Now, this is a universal truth. So if you have to say, Mr. Daniel said the earth is spherical, that is that's a direct speech. Mr. Daniel said the earth is spherical. Now, if you're going to change that to an indirect speech, let me write that in indirect speech. Daniel said earth is spherical. Now, if you're going to change that to indirect speech, you will write Mr. Daniel said that the earth is spherical. You can't say Mr. Daniel said the earth was spherical, because the earth is spherical is a universal truth. It's universal truth are things that remain unchanging over time. They are universal. Okay, it's a truth that doesn't change with time. So, thousands of years ago, we have proven that the earth is spherical. Right now, the earth has not changed. It still remains spherical. Okay, so it's a universal truth. So you can see the conversion. Mr. Daniel said that the earth is spherical. So you don't change, the reporting verb or the verb in what? Universal truth. Okay, no matter what, the nature of the reporting verb does not change. I believe we got that. Alright, so let's move to the next one, and that is contrastive stress. Contrastive stress. Okay, another word for the word contrastive stress is emphatic stress. Emphatic what? Stress. Okay, this is another important aspect we test in English under what you call speech work. Now, the stress of a particular word more than other words is referred to as what? Emphatic stress, or what you call contrastive word stress. Okay, there's a particular word in a sentence that is stressed. Okay, and that word is always written in uppercase letters, or what you call capital letters. So let me write that out. Contrastive stress is always written in uppercase or capital letters. So that's how we get that. So in the sentence now, James borrowed the novel. Who borrowed the novel? James. Did anybody borrow the novel? No. James borrowed the novel. So in the first sentence, the emphasis is on James. But now look at the second one. James borrowed the novel. Did James steal the novel? Did James buy the novel? No. James borrowed the novel. Now you can see, so there is always a word in every of the contrastive or emphatic stress that the stress falls on a particular word. So whatever word in the sentence that the stress falls on is always written in the uppercase of what you call capital letters. I believe you got that. So, and this is one aspect of English that you will be tested, and you can always get all your marks. You can get your examination question papers on West African Examination Council. That's WAEC. Okay, SSC. You can just practice a few questions. About 5 questions always come out here. Alright, so let's quickly move on to what we call register on astronomy. Okay, what is astronomy itself? The scientific study of the universe. Okay, the scientific study of what? The universe. And we consider a lot of things. We consider the motions. Okay, how do planetary bodies move? We consider the positions, the size, the composition, the behavior of astronomical what? Objects. A lot of objects are moving in the universe. Now, what's the universe? Because you might want to ask, what's the universe? The totality of matter and energy in space. Okay, the totality of what? Matter and energy in space is referred to as what? The universe. Okay, so outside Earth there is a universe. Okay, there is energy and there's also what? Matter. So we have planets. Okay, they are astronomical what? Objects that orbits a star and does not shine its own light. Then we also have what you call like the Earth is a planet. We have 9 planets according to our study in what? Geography. We have what? 9 planets. Even though they are still discovering more planets, but basically we have what? 9 planets. One of it is what? Planet what? Earth. Then we have Mars. We have what? Jupiter. We have what? We have Mercury. Okay, so all these are what? Are planets, okay, that exist. Okay, they are planets that exist. Then we have stars too. Stars are also astronomical what? Objects. Alright, then we have an orbit. An orbit is a single revolution of an astronomical what? Object. Then we have what we call galaxies. Billions of what? Stars. And their planets and their gases. Okay, this is what we refer to as what? Galaxies. Then we also have what we call what? Eclipse. We have what you call eclipse. Basically we have what you call eclipse of the moon. Okay, eclipse of the moon. Now, so this is when the moon comes in between the earth and so it casts a shadow, but I don't want to explain that. I believe geography has done justice to that. We have what we call eclipse. Okay, then we also have what we call the astronaut. An astronaut is somebody who has trained over time, all right, to take a journey into space, to explore space. So a person who has trained to take a journey into space, all right, is referred to as what? An astronaut. And we have gravity. Okay, there's a force called what? Gravity, that pulls things towards the center of the earth. Okay, the force of what? Gravity. That's why anything that goes up must come down, because the force of gravity acts on it. So with this, we have come to the end of the lesson today. So thank you very much for joining us in this lesson. To refresh your memory and recall all that was taught today, I would love you to take the test that will appear on your screen.